Hey, good morning, everyone. We are live from Houston, Texas. This is Monday, August 6th, and I believe it's show number 72. I'm so glad you're here. Uh, First, before we get started, let's all say happy birthday to Tamaya. She's 5 years old today. She's right there, and she's sound asleep, and she's snoring. I'd bring her on camera, but she's sound asleep. Anyway, good morning. I'm so glad you're here. It's Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. Lots of people in the chat room before the show started, so that's always fun. If you're new to the show, if this is your first time here, please join the chat room. Let me know where you're coming from. If you've turned your phone sideways, or your device sideways, and you've gone full screen, I believe that takes away the option for chatting, so you have to go back the other way and look for the chat option. It's probably at the bottom of your phone. And if it is your first time here, please subscribe to the Captain Housekeeper YouTube channel. Ring the little notification bell and you'll know when I go live in the future or when I upload a new video. So happy birthday to Maya. Happy Monday, everyone. Good morning, Angela and Cheryl and DJ, Sarah May, Kristen, Diana, Captain Charles. Did I miss anyone? I'm looking at my comments over here. Hi, Terry. Good morning, Captain Terry. Hope I didn't miss anyone. It's so much fun when there's lots of people in the chat room. Just makes it a lot of fun. If you showed up before the show started, you saw some pretty pink flowers. I got those at Costco. I didn't pick them out of my garden, Captain Diana. I wish I had. It's just been such a harsh year. My plants are really, really struggling. But I got them at Costco when I was there last, I don't know, Friday or whatever. I put them in the bathroom because when they put a little addition, they added on like a little family room to the back of this bungalow. There was actually a window in that bathroom. And they boarded it up, right? Put drywall. So that's like an interior bathroom now with no window. So I feel like it needs to be cheered up in there. So I put flowers in there from time to time. So they're in the bathroom. Okay, so, well, apparently, the weekend went well. I was surprised. I expected it to be a lot rainier, but it wasn't. So I was able to get outside and get some cleanup done. The crew that worked on the yard, they dug all those trenches, did a good job cleaning up, but of course the dogs keep finding pieces of broken cement that had been dug up. So, excuse me, I got out there and did a little bit more cleaning because it wasn't quite as hot as it's been. Captain Charles said it was going to get hot again, and I didn't believe him, and it turned out I was right. It didn't get too hot, but it has been kind of cloudy. I did have to come run back inside at one point because we were in the pool and it started thundering. I think that was Saturday. But the rain never hit, it just got thundery. So that was cool. Good morning, Captain Sandra. Good to see you. So it was a good weekend overall. I hope yours was too. As you can see, I'm back in the studio, which makes me very happy. I don't know. Maybe my niece Tasha is coming back. I looked it up. I thought it was today, and it turned out it's the 8th. So I got a few more days. So I went ahead and just reconfigured my studio back into studio space. So I could be back in the studio today. I like it in here. I have a good Wi-Fi connection. I have lots of windows to look out. Tamaya's comfortable in here on her birthday snoring. So I'm back in the studio. So here I am back in the studio. I had lots of ideas over the weekend that I was going to do, and somehow the time always runs out. I don't know what it is about week. Hey, 15 people are here. Good to see you, 15 people. I'm so happy you're here. If you're enjoying the shows, please give them a thumbs up. You know the drill. So today I was kind of stalling a little bit because I was hoping Captain Maggie would show up. Captain Maggie had an interesting comment last week. Before the show started, she said it in the chat room, that she hadn't bought fabric softener for about a month and didn't notice any difference with her laundry. And she was wondering if it's really, really necessary to use fabric softener after all. And I told her I would kind of address it, but in a future show. So here we go. I was going to address the whole idea behind store-bought fabric softeners. Fabric softeners, the whole purpose of them, of course, is to soften your clothes. It will also leave a nice clean fragrance, which I really enjoy that part of it. And for a lot of fabrics, it'll help keep them be kind of wrinkle-free and static-free. So, they do serve a purpose, but if you think about store-bought fabric softeners, The reason why all that works so well is because it leaves behind like a residue on your fabric, right? It leaves behind molecules that smell good, and it leaves behind molecules in the fabric that keep it from having static or keep it kind of wrinkle free, right? So if you're thinking about it that way, if you're concerned about chemicals, then all your clothes and your fabrics are full of chemicals. The reason why Maggie probably went a month and didn't see any big difference is because all those chemicals don't wash out immediately. So her fabrics probably still have fabric softener in them, probably still have residual soap in them. If you were to take you take a load of laundry and put it in your washing machine and just turn it on with water, I bet it would suds up a little bit. You would see it coming out of the fabrics. The fabrics, if they were super clean, would be kind of stiff. If you've ever gotten things really super clean, you notice they're kind of stiff. So that's an interesting little thing to remember. You know, of course, there's some theories that the chemicals in the fabrics cause us harm. It definitely would irritate somebody with allergies or a skin sensitivity, right? So what I want to talk about today is maybe there's some alternatives that maybe you'd want to use for fabric softener. You want to give it a shot. I've given a couple a shot over the years, and there's a few that I really like, and I'll let you know what they are. One thing you can do is if you take I use a glass Pyrex measuring cup that's 4 cups, but you could just use a bowl. And if you dissolve a half a cup of baking soda in that water, and you know where I get the baking soda at Costco, because you can get a large bag of it and it's resealable. So I don't use like my cooking baking soda because it's just a little box, right? I would use the whole box up. So get a big bag of it, and I use a half a cup and I dilute it, you know, in some warm water. And if you put that in your washing machine at the beginning of the cycle, it's going to soften the water, and that will soften the clothes. And what is left behind will be a little bit of dissolved baking soda, so it's not quite as harsh. And that works really, really well if you're just trying to soften or if you're trying to get rid of a little bit of static. Just as an aside, if you have, you know, a lot of fabrics nowadays are back to using a lot of like synthetic fibers. Like, you know, I've some of those Under Armour t-shirts that are real silky and thin, and they're great for being outdoors, but they're not natural fibers, and they get a lot of static. So what I like to do to avoid static is I hang those to dry, because if you put those synthetic fibers in your dryer, it's going to create a lot of static. So hanging them to dry works really well, and of course they're wrinkle free because they're not natural fibers. Another thing you can do is you can use the absolute lowest heat setting on your dryer, and that will eliminate a lot of the static also for all the fabrics, even if they're natural fabrics. So that's another little tip, is hang to dry, or you know, real low setting. In the summertime, before I put the pool in, I actually had a clothesline in the backyard, and I miss it. The pool kind of eliminated the ability to do that, so I can't do that anymore. But there is something about drying, you know, t-shirts and stuff out on the clothesline. Okay, another thing you can do is you can take an empty spray bottle and put a cup of vinegar in it, and you can put about, I don't know, 1.5 teaspoons of your favorite essential oil, and that's for, you know, for the fragrance. I absolutely love patchouli. Guess it's from being a little kid in the 70s. I love patchouli. But just as an aside also, they did a study at the University of Chicago that when people look at you, and if you smell like grapefruit, they perceive you as 10 years younger. So maybe grapefruit would be good. Could make your clothes smell like grapefruit, and people will think you're 10 years younger. So anyway, so you fill up that bottle, you know, with the 1 cup vinegar, about 1.5 teaspoons of essential oil, and, you know, mix it up real well. And then what you do is when you take the wet clothes out of the washer, just give each piece of clothing just a quick spritz of that mixture and throw it in the dryer. And then as it dries, the vinegar is going to take care of the static problem. You won't have a vinegar smell, I promise. And then the essential oil, of course, will give it a nice clean fragrance, so your clothes will all smell nice and clean. So that's another thing you can do. But my favorite thing that I absolutely love, and I forgot to bring them in here, they're in the other room, sorry, is you can get dryer wool dryer balls. And what's really fun about the wool dryer balls is you don't have to put anything in your washer, softener wise. So you put your wet clothes in the dryer and you throw these balls in there. And these wool dryer balls will eliminate the static. They bounce around, so they help make things wrinkle free. And what I like to do is I take essential oils, which, you know, I'm all about the essential oils. And if you just put a few drops on the dryer balls and you throw it in there, then you get the nice fresh fragrance on the clothes also. You know what, I didn't bring them in here to show you, but if you go to my Amazon product page, that's the link in the show description that says products I've mentioned. I did throw the dryer balls that I like to use. They're from New Zealand. They're not that expensive either, and they last a long time, like 1,000 loads. So, you know, before they wear out. So you can check it out on my Amazon page and see which ones I'm talking about. So, thank you, Captain Maggie, for such a great comment and question. Yeah, you didn't have to use fabric softener for a month because your clothes were already full of it. That's really what it came down to. So, so lots of comments came in. So let's see. Oh, Angela says her daughter uses white vinegar in the rinse cycle and has wool dryer balls in the dryer. See, that works really well. And that eliminates putting all those chemicals next to your skin or breathing them. I'm really on board with that. That's great. Captain Kristen says she hangs things so she doesn't have to iron. That's a really good tip too. My mom, when I was a little boy, you know, we went to the laundromat, and what she taught me was she would dry them halfway. So she'd kind of get them hot and moist and then hang them up as quickly as possible. All the wrinkles fell out. They were partially dry, so it didn't take quite as long to dry. It's a really, really good tip. Thank you, Captain Kristen. Oh, Captain Sandra says she doesn't even dry a lot of her clothes. You know, I don't blame you. You know, if you don't need to, if you have lots and lots of clothes, like Captain Angela has all her grandkids she takes care of, I'm sure that it generates a lot of clothes, right? Sometimes, you know, drying them really is just efficient. But if you don't have to, absolutely. Captain Kristen says she makes wool dryer balls too. Oh, that's great. Or if you don't want to make your own, check out my Amazon product page and you can see the ones that I have. Either way would... Oh, Captain Maggie's here. Oh, you missed it, Captain Maggie. You're going to have to go back and watch the program in reruns. Hey, 9 thumbs up. Thank you. If you are watching this in the future, if you didn't catch the show live, go ahead and leave a comment. I promise I'll read it. Okay, so well, that's my alternative to the fabric softener. I hope that some of that helps you folks. I know I like to try to eliminate as many chemicals from my experience as possible, and it's convenience is really what will cause me to do things like use fabric softener. But there are alternatives that aren't any less convenient that we can use also. So now it's Monday. You know, Mondays are always tricky. They haven't finished they haven't put down the sod. Remember, they dug all those trenches, so they haven't put down the sod yet. So I got out this morning and picked up all the landmines, the doggy landmines, unlocked all the gates, but they haven't shown up again. So I'm gonna have to give the plumber a call and see, you know, what his schedule is. And then I'm going to call the flooring person this afternoon and try to set up an appointment to figure out how to get onto his schedule, because phase 2, as you know, is fixing all the floors. I'm hoping to push that off to September. I don't know why September keeps coming to mind. I don't want to do it any sooner. I have to pack all 3 rooms before they can move it out of here. And that's a lot of work. So I'm going to be super busy packing lots of stuff. Lots of trips to my favorite donation place, let me tell you. It'll be really good to purge a lot of stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Purging's fun for me. I don't know why I don't do it more often. I mean, I'm looking around at my studio. It's like, you notice I never point the camera over there. There's a good reason. That corner needs to be purged. So, hi Deborah. That Captain Deborah just got here, and it's just in time for me to say, Captain Deborah, just because you're in charge of your house doesn't mean you have to do everything. Automate and delegate whenever possible. If you want to see what I mean by that, if you're new, I always say that at the end, automate and delegate whenever possible. There is a blog post on my website, and if you look in the show description, there's a link to that blog post about automate and delegate. I have very strong feelings about when you're the captain of your household, you shouldn't be doing everything. You're in charge of making sure everything gets done, but that's different than actually doing everything. I think we're in a bad habit of feeling like we're responsible for doing everything just because we're in charge of everything. So hopefully we can loosen that up and get everybody on board and, barter if we have to loosen up some of our time. So check out that blog post if you want, and say it with me, everybody. No matter what life throws at me, I have the ability to make this a fantastic day. Okay, I love you guys so much. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time, 11 a.m. Central in the USA. Bye-bye.